internet friends, what's going down in the next few weeks? And I don't mean just November 5th. For this video, I want us to step back and really take in the scenery and zoom out. What do the scriptwriters have planned for us? Well, they gave us a little clue, effective September 27, 2024, with Directive 5240.01. Perhaps the most unsexy title ever known to man. I've lost some of you already with that one, but what if I told you the directive has granted the U.S. military the power to help with domestic law enforcement actions, including the use of deadly force against U.S. citizens in some situations just weeks before the 2024 election? What does it all mean? And most importantly, why now?
So I want to say this plain and simple. There is no place for political violence in America, period. None, ever.
Are you confident that there will be a peaceful transfer of power in January 2025?
If Trump wins, no, I'm not confident at all. I mean, if Trump loses, I'm not confident at all.
A fair election and that it will be peaceful.
Two separate questions.
Very much.
I'm confident it'll be free and fair. I don't know whether it'll be peaceful.
For a little context, on July 26, 1947, President Harry S. Truman signed the National Security Act, creating the Department of Defense along with a bunch of other alphabet agencies. This act merged the Army, the Air Force, the Navy, all into one. And with the oversight of all these military branches, the DoD issues these directives to standardize these operations. And you should know that these directives provide clear guidance on procedures, responsibilities, and strategies. And that these directives provide clarity on how the military coordinates with other agencies. Like I said before, if you're still with me, you're one of the few, because all of this sounds so boring, doesn't it? But it's anything but boring. It's very serious. So this directive was reissued right before the November election, which is no coincidence, and it's saying, quote, defense intelligent components may provide personnel to assist a federal department or agency, including a federal law enforcement agency, or a state or local law enforcement agency when lives are in danger, end quote. It goes on to say that the military can use lethal force under specific conditions, primarily when assisting law enforcement in scenarios deemed critical for national security or when lives are in danger. And it honestly makes me think of January 6th scenarios, as fake or manufactured as they might be. But let's zoom out here. The Posse Comitatus Act of 1878 is a law that prevents U.S. military from performing law enforcement activities within the United States, ensuring a separation between military and civilian governance. This act was put into place to prohibit federal troops from enforcing domestic policies and laws. But this new directive, this new order, seems to get around this problem of Posse Comitatus by focusing on assistance in urgent situations. Again, this directive was written by unelected randos, not legislation from selected/elected officials. They're not even pretending anymore, is what I'm saying. On paper, the military is trained for war and trained to kill the enemy, right? Just like how on paper, the police are trained to protect and serve the community. So would the military follow orders in this scenario? Would they fire upon their fellow citizens? You gotta acknowledge that a lot of good people were purged from the military during the COVID era for refusing to follow orders and inject themselves. I mean, I hope not. I don't have the answer. I want to know what you think. But it seems like the next several years will be a masterclass on what it means to be an American patriot. Like, will patriotism become a liability at some point in the near future? It seems like the very essence of what America stands for is at a crossroads here. And it doesn't really even matter in a major way who becomes president because we have millions of illegals flooding into the country. We have the dollar in free fall. We have hyperinflation, and we have forever wars. Partner that with nonstop psychological warfare on the population, especially children, a crumbling infrastructure, and weather warfare. We've got a situation on our hands. And I guess you could point out that the U.S. military has been used to kill civilians since its inception, a fact which I don't really like to bring up because it doesn't really stir feelings of red, white, and blue and, I don't know, apple pie and watching football on Sundays and being outgoing and friendly with strangers. And I'll stop there. I think U.S. Civil War, or even the Whiskey Rebellion, or the Kent State Massacre, or Waco, where the Army Delta Force killed women and children in the most horrible ways imaginable. So it's happened before.
U.S. military now is authorized to kill Americans on U.S. soil. That can't be possible.
Yeah.
This would open up the door for the careless use, and if more frequent and legal. It'll be legal now, so nobody will have to worry about that. Send in the troops. We need you to shoot a couple of these people. Yeah. They're opposing our policies. They're demonstrating against COVID rules. There's something they'll come up with. So I think it's very, very dangerous.
Responding with assets with potential for lethality, and I underline this, I highlighted it, or any situation where it is reasonably foreseeable that providing the requested assistance may involve the use of force that is likely to result in lethal force, including death or serious bodily injury. I'm sorry to bog the discussion down with that, Dr. Ball, but I really wanted to hone in on this is their actual document. It's not just someone's analysis.
I've seen one FEMA agent since I've been here. He approached the front gate of our facility, and his request was, get this, cooperate with local government. Hey, you guys need to cooperate. We're like, what are you talking about? We have, look at all the law enforcement here. Look at all the firefighters here. Yeah. We've been reported to the authorities for domestic terrorism. Yeah. We're a bunch of special operation veterans. It doesn't get any more American than what we're doing. Yeah, we're here to help the people.
The reissuing of this directive alone is troubling, but back at the beginning of the year, a group of lawmakers from both sides of the aisle started pushing for a change to the Constitution. This change would allow members to be quickly replaced if there was a mass casualty event. Curiously, this was all proposed back in March, and there were a few articles about it then. But in the past month, as you can tell from the screenshot I'm about to put up on the screen, it's really been pushed out to the public by mainstream media. The Constitution actually mandates that the House vacancies be filled by special elections. After 9/11, Congress passed new rules stating that following a mass casualty event, special elections would need to be held within 49 days. But now what they want to do is for House members to give the governors a list of like 5 people as their possible replacement. They say this would allow for the continuity of government, and it would keep the political balance so one side doesn't have more representatives than the other, resulting from targeted attacks or I don't know, even disaster. And now representatives are saying that they absolutely need this amendment because of the uptick in political threats. Interesting timing, right? What do they have planned? That's all I've got for you today, internet friends. Let me know your thoughts. Thank you so much for watching, subscribing, and supporting my channel on Patreon. And thank you for buying my book, The Deep State Encyclopedia. Bye.